ईश्वराभ्यां सम्प्राप्य चक्राङ्कणभाष्यकारम् नरङ्गेन्द्रयतौ समर्पितस्वम् श्रीकृष्णमार्यं गुरुवर्यमीडे विरोधेकाधिके मासे जगताराकृतोदयम् योगाचार्यं कृष्णमार्यं गुरुवर्यमहं भजे तं यज्ञायिकयापेन महता भारतेन च उपब्रह्मितवेदाय नमो व्यासाय विष्णवे व्यासं वसिष्ठनप्तारं शक्तेः पौत्रमतनुहृतं पराशरात्मजं वन्दे सुगतातन्तपोनिधिम् अचतुर्वदनो ब्रह्मा विबाहुरपरो हरिः अभारलोचनशम्भुः भगवान् बादरायणः अभ्रश्यामकिङ्कजटाबद्धः कांशुर्भण्डी कृष्णमृगत्वत्परिधानः सर्वान् लोकान् भावयमानः पाराशर्यः परमस्वरूपं विदुनोति कृष्णं कमलपत्राक्षं पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनं वासुदेवं जगद्गुरुं नौमि नारायणं हरिं Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, which is on meditation, jnana. So, a quick review. First, the Lord talks about something which is not directly connected to the jnana, but probably connected with the 5th chapter about sannyasa. And he talks about who is a sannyasi, who is also called as yogi, and what are the characteristics. Then he talks about the stages of yoga called Aruruksha, Arura. And then what are the characteristics of the Aruruksha, what one should do. Aruruksha, Karmaha Karanamukhyate, Yoga Arudaha, Shamaha Karanamukhyate. Then he talks about how Yoga Arura will be. From there he picks up probably to say that what one should do to become Yoga Arudha. Then only we start with the Dhyana part exactly, and he goes step by step. For one who should do Dhyana according to this text, there are certain intentions, there are certain things that one has to do. You cannot simply start, he or she cannot simply start. The person has to find a place basically. So we looked at that last week. So we started from the 7th one. We started from Vidatmana prashantasya paramatma samadhitaha santoshnapita jnana vijnana. Then yogi, 10th one we start with how yogi here is the one meditator, the one who wants to meditate. So 10, 11 and 12 we did last week. So he talks about a place a place, an environment, how it should be. The person must be how? Alone. And he must also have certain characteristics built in him. That is, the person should not be having too much of desire and should not have a lot of possessions. Then that is the environment. Then where the person sits. And we also talked about how the place will be. There should be a plank. There is no mention about the plank here, but our Acharya has said a plank, because that only makes the person to be very erect and steady. Then there will be grass, then there will be the deer skin. On top of that, there will be a cloth. That is the way it will be arranged, and the seat should be neither too high nor too low, so that the person is very straight. And in fact, the next one we have to talk, we are going to now do a close relationship. The 12th, which we have already done, talks about Tatra ekagram manakritva yata chittendriya kriyaha upavishyasane indyat yogam atma vishuddhaye. The first time he said, for the purpose of atma vishuddha, cleansing of the mind, because atma is always pure, so it is cleansing of the mind. Rajas and tamas has to be removed, and that's the purpose also towards that for which the person practices. Now we are starting from 13, which continues. Samam kaya shiro grivam dharayan achalam sthiraha samprekshya nasikagram svam dishaschan navalokayan. This is, we are in 13. The posture of the meditator. Should he be lying down? Should he be standing up? So very, very clear. All these things are, particularly in this text, are very clear. Samam kaya shiro grivam. Having stated that there should be a place, plank, and then so many things, it is understood upavika, that in fact it clearly states that the person is seated. It clearly states that the person is seated, either lying down or standing. Samam kaya shiro grivam. Kaya, body, shira means head, griva means neck. All the three, that is the body, the neck and the head, they are in line. Samam, they are in line. In the idea here is all of us who are Adamudiyas know that that is the idea of having the back straight. The back has to be erect in simple words. Even though it's given in great detail, it is erect. So the body has to be erect. That is why in the 11th one he says that the asana should neither be too low nor it should be too high. If it is too low or too high, then the samakaya shiro grivam will not happen. So having got a correct place, the person also by practice keeps the samakaya shiro grivam. I think we all know that this happens only if we have a practice of postures, asanas over a period of, otherwise it won't happen one day suddenly. So for the purpose of doing meditation, the asana practice must aim towards making this body straight. If there are going to be incongruencies in the body, as yoga teachers, we know we are working in the body towards the person for making it congruent. Achalam. Achalam means without movement. In fact, the word for mountains is called also in Sanskrit Achalam, Simhachalam, Vedachalam. Like that, all mountains are called as Achalam, like a mountain. In today's context, like a mountain. The person has to be able must have the capacity to sit without any movement. The body movement also makes the mind move. It's also clear. If the mind is wavering, the body also moves. But another way of doing is to keep at least the body still. again one will have to do posture. Unless we stay in the posture for a period of time, the idea of sitting down for at least half an hour without movement will not come. So we will have to do postures, aiming at making the body erect without the incongruency, keeping the body, the neck and the head in line. We will do postures depending on the individual adaptations we will do. And then also use stay postures so that we have the ability to sit without movement. In fact, one more thing that comes to my mind is, we all know that there are certain postures which help in that. If you sit in Padmasana, it is not very easy to move. At least you can move still the head and all. But at least some portion of the body will be tight. Like Padmasana, Siddhasana, Vajrasana. These are all postures which are all suitable for meditation. So one cannot sit in these postures suddenly. So we will have to prepare the person. Another idea about how to keep the body erect is, apart from doing the posture which takes care of the lower portion of the body, which makes it, achalam, you have to do the bandha, particularly the Jalandhara bandha. I think the idea here is, unless the person is in Jalandhara bandha, the head will start moving. To fix it in the position, the person will have to be in Jalandhara bandha. So the person has to be slowly prepared towards Jalandhara bandha, to hold the bandha for some time, at least 10-20 minutes or so, and then keep the body erect with some good posture. These are all important messages for yoga teachers like us, because in 13 it says, Samam ka yashiro jivam dharayan. Dhara means here to hold. The body is still. Samam achalam dharayan. The body is held firmly, without movement. Sthiraha. Also sthira. Samprekshya nasikagram. Swam nasikagram samprekshya. Dishascha anavalokayan. What should be the nature of the eyes? Which is also a very great detail this text has gone. The eyes should not move. Dishascha na avalokayan. Anavalokayan. Loka comes from the word to look at. I am very steady in my body. Both my lower portion, upper portion is steady. Maybe I am keeping my head also steady. But still, if the eyes start moving into direction, it is not meditation. So he says, Disascha anavalokayan, without looking at the directions, Swam nasikattham samprekshaya. But we have to place then the question is, if my eyeballs should not move, where do I place it? He says, put it in the nasikattham, that is the tip of the nose. One important point here is, I think most of us know, to gaze at the tip of the nose is not very, one will get taken down. Another dimension, so one has to practice. One. Second is another dimension. Once your mind also goes to a state of rest, and the mind is now inward, and you are going to put the mind inside, this also happens. But one of the commentators says, you don't have to do like Shah used to say, that if you have done your yama, niyama, asana, pranayama correctly, if you have done them correctly, pratyahara happens. Similarly, the nashikagra disha, the nashikagra will also happen if your mind is inside. You have already started practicing, and the moment you start practicing, it comes in. I think your pranayama will help in that, but the idea here is very clear that the gaze should not move in direction. This is the idea of 13. It talks about how the meditator should sit. Posture, gaze, then 14. So posture is in line, firm, प्रशान्तात्मा विगतभीः ब्रह्मचारी वृते स्थितः मनः संयम्य मच्चित्तो युक्त आसीत मत्परः. Again, some ideas continue as to how the meditator should keep his mind. By now, through some practices, the meditator must have reached a state of prashantatma, that is, mind, what we said. We talked about it even earlier. Same thing continues. One cannot do a meditation when the mind is agitated. In fact, it is not shanta, it is prashanta. Prashanta means prakarshena shanta, especially undisturbed. Very especially undisturbed. Especially undisturbed means, what my mind is, we can get disturbed when there are real situations. Somebody is disturbing me, so I may get disturbed. That is one type of disturbance. Another is, nobody is disturbing me. There is nothing to disturb, but still I am disturbed, So this is beyond that. Whether there is a reason for disturbance or there is no reason for disturbance, you are undisturbed. Prashanta. Shanta means probably only when you are disturbed. Somebody is talking to you, somebody provokes you, then you get disturbed. Then nobody is doing anything. Probably I have gone to the Himalayas, I am sitting there is no disturbance. But still I am disturbed. That is not Prashanta. Prashanta is undisturbed, especially Vikata Bhihi. So, fearless. Bhi means generally, what are the fears? Fear can be at various levels. The most important fear is bhavabhaya. That is, of all the fears, abhinivesha. Abhinivesha is that, in fact, when we talk in Yoga Sutra about kleshas, avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha. Vidushovi, even for those who are learned. Isn't it? So, for even learned people that comes. So, in fact, according to Vyasa and all, it relates to the fear of death. So, the person must have won over the kleshas. He is fearless now. So I don't want anything in life, I don't want any possession, I don't want any relationship. Everything is okay, but I am afraid of death. Then you are not fit to be a meditator now. Probably death is considered to be one of the most fearful activities. So fearless. Vikata bhihi. Brahmachari vrite sthitaha. Third is, I want to write the word only brahmachari because the word brahmachari has so many meanings, 99. But the exact meaning of the word brahmachari is one who moves towards Brahman. Sharir, to move. Brahman is the highest. So anybody who wants to move towards the highest in life, spiritual path, highest does not mean like a mountain top or anything. I want to reach that highest spiritual pursuit. So my aim is to go, in fact he is going to talk about it, Matparaha, he will say. For those who believe in Supreme Being, in fact he is going to suggest that the highest Brahma means the God. For those who do not believe in God, the highest is to have Shanti, no disturbance. So there should be an aim and you move towards that. So when we move towards that, it is brahmachari because we won't have either the time or the nature to move towards the objects. You are going away from the objects. And one more way, how to follow Brahmacharya. The teachers say, if you do service, that is the best way to go towards Brahmacharya. Service to the teacher or service to the society will bring you that characteristics of Brahmacharya. It is not simply to be away from objects or sentiments and all. There should be a way for that. And when the person is going to be in meditation, objects will not disturb. That is why the idea of Brahmacharya. I have closed my eyes, everything is okay, there is nothing, but something comes before me, it is taking me away, disturbing me. Stitaha manaha samyamya. Manaha samyamya. Mind is controlled. Health. It is now, mind is in the care of the individual. He has won over the mind. Samyamya. Then what the person should do? Now everything is ready. I have a beautiful environment. Yes, I have probably got a nice environment. I have got a good seat. Probably I was even able to get all this grass and all that. Then somehow I have been able to sit up. Somehow everything is ready. Now the question is, where should I put my mind? I am ready now. Isn't it? Where should I put my mind? Should I put it on this stuff, that stuff? But the focus is Lord. That is what he clearly says. I would like to put Shubhashraya. This is a very, very important concept in meditation for us. In Dhyanamalik also it comes where Acharya talks about this. What should be the focus? The focus should be Yata Abhimada Dhyana Va in Yoga Sutra. First chapter says Yata Abhimada Dhyana Va. For Arjuna, the Abhimata, the pleasing personality is Krishna. Even according to the story of Mahabharata, Arjuna is always attracted towards Krishna. They were very close friends. They shared a lot of excellent relationships. They shared an excellent relationship. Now, at the crisis also, Arjuna has chosen to take Krishna as his refuge. And he has surrendered himself. Naturally, for him, the best Shubhashraya. Shubhashraya means anything that pleases him, anything that brings happiness in you, anything that brings eternal peace in you. That is Shubha Ashraya. Shubha also Mangala. So for Arjuna, to whom this is addressed to, he says, take me, and also for those, apart from Arjuna, who consider Krishna to be the Shubhashraya, Abhimata. Also, for others it should be different. You should have your own Shubhashraya. Here it very clearly says, Manaha Samyamya Mat Chitto. Put your mind mat on me. Mat Chittaha Mat Paraha Asita Ukta. So, Mat Paraha, Mat Para means aim is also there's a difference between the focus and the aim. You can say that I am focusing on this. Maybe I get a concentration. Probably also I may get some amount of happiness and all. But I don't consider this to be the highest. For me, the highest is different. But the focus is this. This is the focus, but the highest is different. He says, please keep both together. Otherwise there could be a conflict. And for me, you also focus on the object which you consider to be the highest. So, like the Ekatattva Abhyasa. So I consider this object to be the highest and I will focus on it. So, I am the Matparaha. Keep me as the goal, supreme goal. Reach me. So, this is another way of looking at this is, there is a way to reach something and there is a goal of reaching. So, yoga is both the way. So, use the Lord to reach the Lord. So, use the Lord. Who is the focus? The focus is also the goal, aim. So, we are going to use the meditation, and with the equipment of meditation, we are going to have the Lord as the tool to reach. For example, another idea I give you. You can have a long rope. The rope is like the focus. At the end, you tie it into a bucket or something. Then the idea of us is not to take the rope, to take some water from inside. Here, the rope, what you want to take, everything is the Lord. So the Lord is the focus, the Lord is also the aim. That is very, very important for us to know. Then only you will get a better meditation. Quality of meditation is very good. But why should the focus be me? That is what he is talking about in the 15 itself, without making us to go for a long tour. Why should I be the focus? Again. The focus can be different. The focus, because of the focus can be different, because that is the way. My mind can be led through only by something which it likes. So the focus is related to the mind. I am going to draw the mind slowly in the meditation. That is why I have kept this as a focus. Then why should I be the aim? Because Indene Mamsadatmanam Yogi Niyatamanasah Shantim Nirvana Paramam Matsamasta Adhigachyati. I am the highest because what culminates in me is nothing but peace. Eternal peace. So, 15 is very important. I am not saying you come to me because you will get a lot of weapons. I am not saying please keep me as the aim because you may win the war. There can be various reasons. So I want to meet this person. In fact, me and my Siva has got a lot of, we have got somebody as Matparaha, where we want something to happen in one place. So for us, the aim, for us presently, that person is very important. We are ready to do anything for the person. But that is a temporary one, 2-3 days. After that, we don't want it. And we have a reason. We want something to come out from that. So I want a promotion of it. So temporarily, we are looking at something as an aim because we want something to get. So what will you get out of me? Are you going to get out of me just beautiful weapons? Because Arjuna got the best weapons from, not from Krishna. He got it from Shiva, Vasudev. He got it from Shiva. He got a lot of weapons from various people. He never took even one weapon from Krishna. So the weapons are going to be used in the war. So you come to me because I am nothing but an abode of eternal peace. That is why the message of Bhagavad Gita is common to every one of us. We are not going to fight, we are not in battlefield, but everyone wants to reach the highest nirvana. Nirvana means moksha, from where you don't return. Liberation. So, evam, I am going in detail for 15. Evam, like this, sada, always. Atmanam injan, that is bind the mind, keep the mind steady, focused. Niyata manasaha. Niyatam also means like the yama niyama. The mind is now disciplined. It is focused. It is disciplined and focused. The yogi, the meditator, nirvana paramam. to reach the highest peace, much samattham. It is residing in me. What is in me? In me is the highest peace. That is Lord Krishna says, Shantim Adhigashyati. So what is happening is the goal is eternal peace. Shanti. So the aim, probably the ultimate aim of meditation is not to simply get some concentration, which also comes in the way. It is also not simply to get the correct idea about an object like Vibhudipada. We get various, the meditator gets various powers to understand an object, to know what it is, a correct perception. Okay, all those things are all not the aim here. The aim is to get the eternal peace. The Lord is an abode of eternal peace. So have the Lord as the ultimate aim. Use the Lord himself as the focus. When we say use the Lord as the focus, Subhashrayam, that can be a number of things. How it can be possible is it will depend on the individual. There are people who are ready to meditate on the form, Sagunam Dhyanam. So there are 9 forms of Lords available with the various things like Shankara. Some people may say, I don't like that. Then you have a nice lotus. This is the idea of the Subhashraya. Subhashraya is used where you have got a Saguna worship. It is easier to go through Saguna according to Acharya, because Nirguna is not very easy. You can look at the entire universe as nothing but the Lord, but that cannot be easy for meditation. You are going to get that as a result. So use the Lord to reach the highest eternal peace, which is the aim of meditation here in the 6th chapter, which is also required by everyone. Use the focus of something which you love and like, Subhashraya, and aim to the highest, which will culminate in the eternal peace. It will culminate in eternal peace. If you are very sure this is the end and there the peace is there, please take it. Here he says very simply, I myself will be eternal, end of the eternal peace. Mat samastham. Samastham means it is there. It is in me. If you come to me, I will give you the other idea. This brings us into another one segment. We will move on now. So like one segmentation, 13, 14, 15 at one place has given an entire idea about how one should think. What should be the posture, where the person should look at, what should be the mind, how we should be careless, mind is controlled, what is the focus to be used and to reach where and what is the idea of the goal. From 16, there is a different dimension but related to meditation. This from 16, whatever is stated, the ideas could have come earlier also, but generally Bhagavad Gita is like that. Sometimes they get all these things which he is going to talk about can also be put before the whole thing, because it is there required before the meditation. There are certain points one should look at if you want to be a good meditator. What you do, that if you want to be a good sportsman, you have to run in the morning. If you want to play tennis, also you have to run. So if you want to have everyone requires certain basic things, like a discipline today required. Natyashnatastu yogyospi nataikantamanashnatah najati swapnalo swapnashilasya jagrato naiva Arjuna atyashnatah. It is 15 says, do and don't. This is what I would like to present you. What are the do's and don'ts for a meditator? Atyashrataha, one who overeats. Na yogaha asti. Yoga will not come or no. Yoga here means meditation. Yoga here means meditation. You won't get a good meditation. You won't be able to, you can sit all those things, everything may be ready. But still you are saying, I am not able to have the focus. That's what lot of our students come and tell us. They say, I went to this meditation school, that meditation school, I follow this, that, etc. But the moment I sit down at 4:30 in the morning, close the eyes, no, nothing comes. Something probably makes me more disturbed. Today, you have the nice place, you have the nice body, you have the correct posture, everything is correct. Please check all these lists, which I am going to tell you. If you have made a mistake anywhere, you won't get. Don't overeat. Atyashnataha tu na yogaha asti. Na cha ekantam ashnataha. To eat properly. Moderate eating. That is, don't starve. Don't overeat, but don't starve also. न च अति स्वप्नशीलस्य न च एव जागृतः. Don't oversleep. Means too much of sleep, too much of wakefulness. Moderation. Moderation in eating and sleeping. Moderation in eating and sleeping. You can easily see that these two are related to our gunas, rajas and tamas. If you overeat, you are certainly going to have tamas. And if you are too much into without eating, you won't be able to sit up. Either you become totally tired probably at the end of the whole thing. If the hunger goes on, then you become completely tired and sit down. Or in the initial stages, you become rajasic. You go here and there, hyperactive. Similarly, if you don't sleep, then it will lead to tamas. So, oversleep also will lead you to difficulty of tamas and related problems. So, rajas and tamas will be at high. So, this is the ahara portion. And we are going to talk about in 17 also the same thing. One more thing, as teachers of yoga, you would have heard about it because Acharya talked about it. He said, what should be the quantity? Then if you say, don't overeat, don't starve, how much should I eat? It should be 3 cupfuls, and today we have got a lot of ideas how much calories should be there. Is there any prescription about the calories and all that? He says, half stomach full of stuff, quarter stomach of water, leave the quarter stomach empty. That is what Ayurveda says. That is what our Acharya also says. And here, even though the Gita does not specifically talk about it, this is the idea. In fact, I remember hearing Sir always talking about our Acharya saying that it is the idea of this vrata does not mean that you should go entirely starve the whole day and then keep starving for a few days and then come back and eat. It is moderation in daily food is the vrata. In fact, even if you don't miss out on this ekadashi and all that, there is nothing wrong. But you have moderation in your daily food itself. You overeat one day and then starve another day. Our idea of overeating and starving also relates to certain days. One day you overeat and one day you starve. That is also not correct. Yuktahara vigara. Sleep also similarly. We have got certain days. Whole night the person will be waking up for some days. They don't know what because he says this is the Lord, this is the day on which we are expected to. Not the next full day if you sleep, the whole idea will be lost. We always put some television and all to have the, we keep ourselves Yuktahara viharasya yuktatyeshtasya karmasu yuktasvapnavabhodasya yogo bhavati dukkha. The idea is yoga comes, destroys the dukkha, which is also the other way of looking at it. When the yoga will become the destroyer of dukkha, it will become when yukta ahara vihara, you have moderate eating, moderate in lifestyle. In fact, this is 17. In 16 he has said what should not be done. Overeating should not be done, starving should not be done, oversleeping should not be done, overwakefulness should not be done. In the 17 he says what should be done? What should be done? Yukta ahara viharam. Ahara means food, diet, eating. Vihara is lifestyle. Your lifestyle should also be moderate. If you unnecessarily fill yourself too much, it may not stand for a long time. You must participate, but the recreation, but what the English is, lifestyle should be moderate. Karmasu, action. Karmasu, yukta cheshtasya. The work should also be moderate. Today we have seen how overworking kills people. Isn't it? People work for, they are very happily and proudly talking about 17 hours, 18 hours, and they say I used to be saw somebody from Bombay. Every day we are seeing somebody sitting before the computer and saying that I work for 10 hours, 12 hours and all that, or more than that. And naturally the person has got all problems. From the point of view of not only meditation, even for normal life, to live a healthy life is very good. Moderation. The Buddhists call this a middle path. In fact, after Buddha completed his meditation, he attained the nirvana, enlightenment. He was almost object, totally dead. Because for the last 10 days he was not eating. The last 10 days he was not eating at all. And then he got his enlightenment, and then he came and said, first thing he said is, I have found out that you don't have to go through this to get enlightenment. That is when he started what is called as the middle path. He is the one who Buddhism also talks about middle path. He talks about middle path. This way. We've got 5 minutes, we will finish the next one. What is it leads to? Yada viniyatam chittam atmanyevati atishthate nispruhaga sarvakamebhyo yuktayuchyate tada. When viniyatam chittam atmanyeva atishthate, the chitta, the mind, which has already been put under some discipline, it is properly Atmani eva avatiktati. Now, what we have done so far will lead you to Gada Drashtuhu Swarupe Avasthanam. It will lead you to the state of Atma Avatiktati. 1.3 of Yoga Sutra. The mind is now stead because of the meditation. It is stead, one with the Atma, self. Tada, at the time, Sarva Kamebhyo Nispruhaha. What happens as a result is, the person is now not disturbed by desires, external object, Nispruhaha. No disturbance. There is no longing. Sarva kamebhya. The kama has sarva word. Kamebhya is the any type of desire. The kama means excessive desire. Any type of desire it can be. So all desires are now put at rest because the mind itself is in rest. Only when the mind is in rest and it is rested in the supreme, in the self, or in the self, there is no disturbance because of the various desires. And he is going to continue to talk about how one can see that they have reached this state. Thank you. Thank you.